Okay, so today is going to be another relatively quick and short video. I have in my notes exactly what I want to talk about. First, I just want to kind of preface exactly what I think I'm going to talk about. I have like 5 ideas. I'm going to kind of graze over all of them as I talk to you guys, and then hopefully find an end point of exactly what I want to talk about for this video. But I also like the challenge of like not knowing exactly what I want to talk about going into it, and I think that that's kind of a part of what this series is for me, is just like doing things that are super uncomfortable or maybe not the easiest thing in the world. So far on this channel, I've talked about mainly weightlifting, a little bit about my faith, and then just like life in general. For this one, I think I'm gonna stick on that topic for now, and then kind of talk about how they both, I guess, just mesh. Whatever, sure, that's what we'll go with. How they can be cohesive and how the two can align in certain ways, and based on my own point of view, exactly how I can make the two. What's the word I'm looking for? Firstly, I'll start with progress doesn't happen when you're in the gym. It happens whenever you rest and you allow your body to recover, and that's when your muscles are actually growing, each individual cell. And the way that I kind of can connect that to my faith is I don't see myself getting closer to God whenever things are growing great. And I think that, you definitely can get closer to God in the moments of being thankful for things that are happening in your life. But for the most part, where I've been able to grow and progress, those confusing times and when I'm going through something that's more difficult and something that I don't completely understand, and I know that I have to rely on God to answer those questions for me, that's where my faith grows. And that's when, even whenever something makes no sense and something never will, like if you take a family member passing, for example, that's something that'll never make sense, and that's not a question that I will ever be able to answer. And I don't think that I will find a direct answer in the Bible like that is going to be like, oh, okay, that's fine. Like there's not going to be an answer that I find when looking in the Bible that will make me completely okay with that ever happening. But it also is something that I have found peace with, because we're not meant to understand everything that happens, and we're not meant to understand exactly how the universe works, and there's a reason that there is a separation and a distinction between us and God, and that reason is because those things that happen, we're not meant to understand, because we are human beings and we are not on that level. And this isn't only going to be touching on fitness and faith, it's going to be talking about life as well. And this list that I have is super random, so it's going to kind of seem like I'm bouncing from topic, which is because that's what I'm literally doing. Another thing that I mentioned in my notes earlier was why comfort always kills growth. I put no answer on purpose because I want to see if I can kind of come up with an answer that makes sense and kind of challenge myself here a little bit. So why comfort always kills growth? I'm going to treat this as if I'm being almost interviewed and have to answer the question myself. So I think that that's kind of obvious. Like, of course, comfort kills growth. That's something that we've heard, that we've seen on social media very often. At least on my For You page, I always see people talking about don't be comfortable, get out of your comfort zone, which I think is absolutely correct. And if you want to not only distinguish yourself but grow, you have to get uncomfortable in moments. But I also think that we stretch that meaning so far sometimes that we try to be so uncomfortable and think that, well, since this isn't, like sometimes I'll be working on things and I'll take a break to watch an anime, or I'll take a break to do something else that I enjoy, and I think like, I'm comfortable right now. And in my head, I'm like, well, I could be using my time right now to be progressing at something and getting better at something, or posting YouTube or more content, whatever. But I think that stretching that definition is what holds ourselves back, because whenever you look at these other creators and all they show is their life where they're just always locked in, they're doing everything that's perfect, it leaves no room for error, and you think that the only way that I can be successful is if I'm able to do this every single day, this. And yeah, if you're able to lock in like that, that's amazing, but a lot of people are not capable of doing that. But you can still make a schedule that works for you and can lead to progress for yourself. So I don't think that comfort is always the absolute enemy. I think that comfort can also be something that, if used correctly, can be If used correctly, can be a. That's my roommate. He's grabbing some groceries. Yeah, so that's kind of basically what I want to talk about for that topic. Here's another one that kind of, I think, can combine weightlifting with faith. When you're first coming into the gym, the same as like first coming into having a relationship with God, your form is going to suck in the same way that your approach at being a Christian is not going to be the best approach you could possibly take. And with that being said, there's not a right and wrong approach to it. It's giving the effort that you can is what matters. But I think that practicing and getting in your word in the same way that you can like practicing your form for lifting weights, I'll get it out in a second, can also help you progress getting better with your walk and getting in your word and going to church and building these little habits. Like what I do that's really helped me with overcoming lust, like I talked about in my last video on faith. What really helped me, I forgot to mention, is that I try to always have either my TV in my room or the living room, or just in general, even sometimes in my car if I feel those thoughts coming on. I have YouTubers playing on my TV that are like a podcast of, I don't know what you'd call them, just Christian influencers, and filling my home up with that type of thought pattern, it just makes it harder to fall into that sin, because whenever you're seeing that and hearing that, it's a lot easier to deflect those thoughts. I have a lot more that I want to talk about, but it's also already getting pretty late for tonight. I think I'm going to wrap it up there, just make it a short little discussion, and I hope that you guys grabbed something from that was beneficial. If you didn't, hopefully I'll get better at doing this. And that's the other thing. I want to keep doing this because I believe that quantity over quality, and that kind of seems counterintuitive to what I've been doing, because I've got myself trying to post a long form video every single day, trying to post a short form video every single day, or even multiple, and that kind of contradicts not only, quality over quantity, but also contradicts how I was saying being comfortable. It seems like, Gage, you're doing all of this stuff, it makes it seem like it's very unrealistic, but I'm just trying to hit this bare minimum that I know I'm capable of. This is something that I know I'm capable of, and I have, after a lot of attempts of trying to do YouTube for a very long time, I think I finally found something that is not easy for me. It's definitely going to push me in a lot of ways, but editing wise, it's something that I can do very quickly because I have practiced for a very long time. And now I think that if I'm shooting out decent quality every single day, that I'm going to eventually be able to put out quality every single day. And the practice is what's going to make me better. So I don't know if that was on topic with what I started to say a second ago, but I hope it was decent. I think that's it. I have a lot more in my notes, but I think that's all I'm going to touch on for now, because this is probably getting a little bit longer than I already originally wanted it to be. But if you guys watched this far, I really appreciate it. If you guys watched this far, I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a blessed one.